from the time the kick-off till the time finished, Ricky was just saying words that would make a sailor blush. Honestly, I've never heard so many swear words.
Directly at you?
Directly at me. He's a really good finisher. For me, he just looks like a rep player. He looks like an origin sort of player.
Hello and welcome to another week of Immortal Behaviour. Thanks to Tab. How are you going this week, Joey?
I'm good.
Good?
I'm good. I'm very good. I'm like a fan.
Like a fan?
Tonight, going to the game.
Oh, I was wondering where you were taking that.
Yeah.
We were just speaking about your award-winning column and how pumped you were. It's about tonight's game. What were your words? The master versus the apprentice. So obviously you're heading up to Suncorp. We've got the Panthers taking on the Dolphins. What excites you most about that matchup?
Well, I love watching Nathan play, but I love watching Izzy Katoa play especially. I watch him so close. I take interest in all the halves, even the young halves coming through and how they play. And Izzy Katoa's got me excited the last 2 years, the way he plays, especially because he's a New South Welshman. But up against tonight, I can still remember when I was a kid, coming up against my idols. I'd imagine Nathan is Izzy Katoa. Both came through the Penrith system. So I'm looking forward to it. And look, without a doubt, Nathan would be excited by the challenge, taking on the young players. I remember taking on young halves when they're coming through, and when you're towards the end, well, Nathan's not towards the end, but he's at the top of his game. I just can't wait.
Do you think he'll be extra nervous, is he?
Well, I don't know, Izzy. He seems pretty cool, and doesn't his temper, it shows that nothing sort of phases him, but I think deep down he'd be nervous. I don't know, I haven't met Izzy. But you see him on the field, he's pretty controlled with his emotions, compared to some halfbacks.
Some halfbacks that write columns. How did you were just saying before you love writing that column.
Yeah.
I did quiz you if you actually write it yourself, which you do. You get the pen out.
Believe it or not.
Believe it or not. Well, I was
Crayon.
wondering when did you get so it is crayon. You didn't get your pen license in Cessnock?
No.
No, that never came through.
I don't know, this one especially, I just sat down and I thought about it and I wrote, key notes and then sort of got there and I spent a while doing it because I love it. It's just watching halves playing and, I text Laurie and JT and Nathan, they all gave me quotes about him. It's really cool, really cool to do. And I'm going up as a fan. I feel like I'm a kid going to watch halfbacks play. So
cool. Well, speaking of the Master and the Apprentice, who are some of the halfbacks that you used to watch and idolise? Well,
two especially, Ricky Stewart and Alan Langer. I wanted to pass and kick like Ricky, so I couldn't even tell how many hours and hours and hours I just watched him with the old VHS, and I wanted to have the running game and the short kicking game of Alf. So I just religiously just watched him and go out in the backyard and copy until I played against Ricky Stewart. We were 94, my first year. I was only a baby. What was I then? 19, and from the time the kick-off till the time finished, Ricky was just saying words that would make a sailor blush. Honestly, I've never heard so many swear words.
Directly at you?
Directly at me. Every scrum, every time, and he'd be looking at me, and I was looking up defending, and opposite me I had Bradley Clyde and Mal Meninga, and they had these shapes where they were running, which were isolating me, so I'd be tackling Mal front on. I was like 82 kilos at that stage. And then he would ease up me and then Bradley Clyde would come. I'd never been kneed in the head. I got Mal's footprint on my chest and I got his arm guard in my head. And then to make matters worse, I'd go to the scrum, Ricky would just go, look at you, blah, 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 blah. So I got home, I rung Mum at Cessnock, no mobile phones in those days. I said, Mum, can you do me a favour? And they beat us by 50 odd. It was just...
all on your
Although,
page.
you know what? It was some of the great lessons I learned when you're out in the field. I rung Mum and said, Mum, do me a favour, can you go to the bedroom and rip down all those posters of Ricky Stewart and burn them, please? But burn them slow. But taught me so much. It's when you learn your lessons out on the field. Alf was different. Alf was great to play against. You'd have a joke and wouldn't say too much. Ricky.
He hasn't changed too much.
No, nothing changes. Just a competitor and would do anything to get on top of the opposition.
Oh, so good. What about for playmakers, obviously tonight's game, but playmakers coming through, like you were as a kid, some of those kids playing at the moment, what should they watch and take out of tonight's game? Maybe even if you do isolate it out of Nathan Cleary's game and Izzy Katoa's game.
Well, I think the temperament of Nathan, perfect example, the last 20 minutes of that grand final against Brisbane, I reckon I've watched it. Just those 20 minutes over and over, and I still marvel at it. It's the best 20 minutes of any halfback I've seen in a big game. Go watch that. Temperament. Passing wise, once again, Nathan, but Izzy Katoa, how straight he plays in the line. I think the kicking game of Nathan Cleary, the long kicking game of Mitchell Moses, the way he hits the ball. And go back. An area of the game as a half which has been pushed aside is support play. If you go watch Terry Lamb, the way he played, and I've spoke to Barr a few times about it, he said, well, my thing, didn't matter where the ball was on the field, I just kept jogging down the field. And took a lot out of that. So go watch old tapes of Terry Lamb, probably the best support half there's been.
Why do you think there's no one in the modern game that's doing
because
it just as well?
Because they're setting up. That's gone out of the game, that they're getting to a point to have a big play, and then they have a big play, and then they go back to these points. So sometimes when the players going forward, the halfbacks turned around and they're organising. It's just, go watch Terry Lamb, go watch Alan Langer. Alan Langer would give the ball to the forward and let him go, but he wanted it back. I'll give it to you, but give me it back.
Yeah.
So,
and you think there's a place in our game that they can do both?
Oh, for sure, 100%. 100%. Support play. Terry Lamb, Alan Langer. Watch Pappenhausen on the weekend, the way he puts himself. Fletcher Sharp's one, support play. Anticipation, keep jogging down the field.
Never die, you're always alive. You made some waves on, was it the Sunday Footy Show, when you said that Nathan Cleary needs to dumb his game down a little bit. Obviously, with the exclusion of Mitch Kenny for tonight's game, do you think that's even more crucial?
Yep, Luke Summerton comes in at dummy half.
Talangi's coming in as well.
I don't know about Luke as a player. Blaze Talangi at 5'8", so once again he's going to have to nurse and cuddle in the way he plays. It'll really help Blaze because pretty much the way they play in attacking situations, Isaiah, Nathan, Dylan Edwards down the right side, and Blaze will just be on the left. So he'll be running off Nathan, the third layer of attack, without being too technical. But this is the next phase of Nathan's career. We know how they're going, the start of the year. They've been struggling, leaking points. And everything's connected on the field. The completion rate over the games they've lost has been really poor, which means they're putting extra effort into their defence, so their defence is struggling. Why aren't they competing? Because the young players, physically and mentally, aren't up to players like Fisher Harris and Taylor May and Kikau and Burton. Geez, they've lost some players, but yeah, he has to dumb it down a bit, which he'll do. I think it's exciting for Nathan.
Yeah.
Really
do you think
exciting.
Also the fact that Dylan Edwards is back and his effort rate?
Well, they haven't had
think
go
about
forward.
Nathan, Isaiah Yeo and Dylan Edwards.
And another thing, they've been on the back foot. They haven't had the go forward. Lindsay Smith is starting now. He's playing 60-odd minutes in the middle. They haven't got Fisher Harris. Brian To'o hasn't been there. He gets the sets rolling. So once again, dumb it down, but learn to play on the back foot. Go watch Wally Lewis. He played his whole career on the back foot. He's one of the king's the king. But I was never old enough to understand the greatness of the king. But everyone says he could play on the back foot with no go forward and wait and wait. And when the opportunity came, he would strike.
It's pretty remarkable, isn't it? Good news. 48 days until Origin.
Oh, yes.
It's wild that's
We talk about Origin in October.
No, I'm actually pumped.
Well, even after a month after Origin, in July the last time, September, we're talking about Origin next year. It's so big. It's huge.
Yeah, exactly. One of the biggest and most exciting parts of our game. 48 days. Now, Zach Lomax has just suffered a broken foot 6 weeks. There are also some other players. To'o, you just mentioned To'o. Mitch Moses is out. Turbo's out, obviously, again. For Laurie Daley as the New South Wales head coach, they're players that he'll, at the very least, want in the mix and to be in that squad. But to play on game day, ahead of game one, how many games of NRL do you think that he'd want them to play?
I think Zach, structurally, it's a break. So I'd say 1 week for him. The players with soft tissue injuries, I think it's probably 2 or 3 games, which is
Yep.
Brian To'o, he's got the hamstring.
Yep.
Mitch Moses, he's been out for a long time. I think that'd be sort of 3 games, even 4. And Turbo, well, I don't know with Turbo how bad that medial ligament is. They're talking 6 weeks. Turbo, you'd probably want 2 games also. So the soft tissue injuries are a little bit longer. Zach Lomax is the one, only 1. But the others probably 2 or 3, and Moses 4.
What about Laurie Daley did say during the week that if Zach Lomax was fit to play, he'd definitely be on the wing. Is that his best position for you for Origin?
Yep, for sure. I was surprised when they put him on the wing. I think he's a world-class centre. Centres these days don't get the ball, so it doesn't matter.
But to find him a place in Origin, if that's where it is.
Well, he's a great goal kicker. He kicked that goal on half-time in Game 3. Probably one of the biggest the biggest clutch kick he's ever kicked. Yeah. Chase's kicks, look, he's a complete package as a winger. So last year, every game we had To'o and Zach Lomax on the wings.
And it worked.
It worked.
If he's not fit and firing, ready to go, you threw out a great smokey in Jack Bostock.
Yeah.
What do you like about his game to think that he can go to that next level? Because Origin is a whole new ball game.
He brings the ball out of trouble, which for Origin, it's what you need your wingers to be, those extra forwards. He's a big body. He's tall, he's strong in the air, he's a really good finisher. For me, he just looks like a rep player. He looks like an Origin sort of player. Probably a couple of years early. If you wanted to go with experience, Josh Addo-Carr, he's there, he's done it before. There's talk Jacob Carraz, but if I had to put Bostock and Carraz next to each other, I think Bostock's a little bit in front.
He's a unit, isn't he?
Yeah.
Physically, he's a weapon.
Carraz.
No, Bostock.
Bostock, yeah, he's well over 100 kilos and super athletic.
Do you know much about his personality? Have you had anything to do with or heard anything
South Coast
about?
boy,
yeah.
He's a Wollongong boy
His
or
sister
down there?
plays as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, not at all. No.
I've heard that it's a great family. Obviously, comes from a nice part of the world.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Good family guy, which also you can see that coming through his footy, just in the way. I just think his effort.
He's a gun.
And he's a team player, and he's willing to do all that tough stuff as well.
He's
which
probably a couple
goes
of years
miles.
off it, but I wouldn't hesitate to put him in there.
Yeah, right. What about for Laurie Daley? He obviously comes back in as head coach for the Blues. What do you think he might have learnt from last time he was coach?
That there's no Slater, Cronk, JT, and Cameron Smith.
How good.
Yeah. Like really.
But we do have the next generation of players coming through, but
you
it's
look
different.
at them, you're never going to beat them. And then throw in a bloke called Greg Inglis, throw in a bloke called Israel Folau, throw in, but not only that, they're foot soldiers. All those forwards would do their job. And then Cameron Smith, JT. If you go during that era, a lot of games were lost by 2, 4, 6, even 8 points. It was so close, but they got them home. Oh, it still hurts talking about it.
Well, what would Loz be most excited about, do you think? Obviously, they're not playing, but would it be some of the players that he's got, or maybe how Queensland's shaping up?
Their spine, if you think about it, fullback KP, Kalen, or Reece Walsh, Munster, DCE, Harry Grant.
That's what I mean. Like the new generations.
It's pretty impressive, but then Nathan, fully fit. Nathan, Reece Robson, they've been together last year. Nathan didn't play. Luai, him and Nathan, or Moses. And fullback Dylan Edwards. We've got the combination. It's going to be some series.
It's going to be so good.
But our strike out the left side, we saw in Melbourne last year, Angus and Latrell together, my gosh, strike.
Bring it on. See, you thought 48 days was too far. You're excited.
I think about it every night.
All right, it's time for our big call. Thanks to Tab. What have you got for us, Joey?
Dolphins to win tonight. I think the Dolphins can upset Penrith. I think Penrith still look a little bit vulnerable. I thought the Dolphins turned the corner last week against the Titans. Pretty much full strength. And Izzy Katoa, somehow you've got to bring Herbie Farnworth and Hemiso into play. But I'm really bullish about the Dolphins tonight. I think they can win in front of a big crowd up there, dry track.
Big crowd, you'd be looking forward to being at Suncorp, are you?
Be nice, please. Be nice.
Take care of him, Queensland.
Inside, we're all still those young boys that don't like being screamed at.
What about Izzy Katoa? Do you get a chance to talk to him, or if you see him at warm-up, because we obviously get out on the field before the game, will you get to have a chat to him before the game?
I spoke to him. I spoke to him about who'd they play at Combank
Penrith?
No.
Oh no, sorry.
They played South Sydney.
Yep, correct.
When the floods were on, I went down the sheds to say hello and had a chat to him. It was cool. It was really good. Really sensible young fella. Just like
Unlike
myself.
some halfbacks.
But no, he's got a, he seems to have an old head on young shoulders. I was really impressed with him. He's a really nice young guy, respectful. I'm just looking forward to the next 10, 15 years watching him develop. He is a gun. He is an absolute gun.
I reckon he might be tuning into this episode too.
I hope he's not.
The eight's giving him a rap.
Well, when Nathan finishes, Nathan and Moses and Luai and those boys at Origin level, it's exciting for New South Wales because we have Katoa, Luke Medcalf coming through, Lockie Galvin. You can see the next generation. It's exciting for New South Wales.
It sure is. Speaking of halfbacks, Hugo Savala, he scored the number 7 jersey. Chad Townsend lost it for the Roosters. You've got to be excited about this because I can remember when we were at Combank and he was coming off the bench and Lewis, your son, had how many mates was it?
70.
70. They weren't tame either. But you were really excited about him to get his crack. Now he gets to own that 7 jersey. How cool is that?
Oh, it's so cool for Hugo, local boy, born and bred in around Bronte, Coogee area, and a rare local junior for the Roosters, along with Victor Radley. So not only means a lot to him and his family, but just that, around those towns, everyone knows each other. So it's a real boost for the Roosters. And look, something need to change. They haven't been firing, especially in the halves. I'm looking forward to watching him and Sandon Smith play together. But all he has to do is his job. Number one, defend strong, support play. Go watch Terry Lamb. Kick well. He'll do a lot of the kicking, I think, with Sandon Smith. He's on the left side. And run the ball, opportunity. That's his strength, his running game.
You would have watched him play a fair bit of footy.
Not really.
Through. No, you didn't.
No, I haven't seen much of Hugo.
Yeah, okay.
Seen clips on TV, and it's just New South Wales Cup. They don't play before first grade.
Yeah, it's hard now.
And Saturdays, I'm watching the races and
priorities.
Join myself. Yeah.
Is it a big challenge though going to Suncorp and playing the Broncos? Like that's massive. Do you think that'll help him or hinder him?
I think it's one of those ones where he's got nothing to lose. No one expects the Roosters to get near him. So really, he's got nothing to lose. Get out there. Well, he debuted against Penrith.
And he did brilliantly as well.
Yeah,
didn't
he played really well.
Well
we know Penrith's struggling a little bit, but I can imagine the nerves coming up. Some of the best players in the world. It's exciting.
He's a unit as well. Another one of those players. He's 6'4" or something crazy. I remember seeing him in the warm-up actually ahead of that last game thinking, whoa, he does have a younger face, but physically he looks strong. You said that his running game's one of his biggest threats. If you could give him a direct message ahead of that game, would you want him to just take the line on the first couple of times, like get in the contact
Probably
and get rid of the nerves?
first time you get the ball, just take them on.
Yeah.
But then pick your times. Know your players who you're playing with, who gets the quick play the balls. White. Nafu White, every time he goes forward, I'd be supporting him and then getting on the back of him. He's a good player. But play to your strengths. Defend strong, support, kick well, run at the right times. Good luck.
And if he does that, do you think that he gets ownership over that number 7 jersey for the next sort of, what would it be? It would be the next few months of footy?
Well, there's a lot of talk about Sam Walker not coming back this year. And look, moving forward, if there's no chance of them the Roosters making the semis, and he's back with 6-8 weeks to go, I don't think you can risk him. So it's his position moving forward for sure. His position till Sammy comes back, and then with that big body, he's going to put more size on. He's only a young player. It could be a running 5'8", it could be a ball playing lock. So yeah.
How much will it help him having the 7 on his back as opposed to he did great off the bench for his first crack and then obviously New South Wales Cup, but how much will it help him as a ball player in his development to just be put in there and say, you know what, mate, this is yours, you need to own it, figure it out on the run? Do you think that's the way to go? Yeah,
I think so. It's great trust by Trent Robinson, the coaching staff. Psychologically, there's a big difference with putting the 14 on than putting the 7 on.
But they don't really have the option if Chad Townsend's not working.
Yeah, no, exactly. The other option was Connor Watson to 7, but I don't think Connor's an out-and-out 7 week in, week out. I think dummy half's his best go. So yeah, it's his spot. So good luck.
Good luck. All right, it's time for the footy tonight already, round 6.
Can't wait.
You pumped?
This one,
Hopefully Suncorp's not too hostile
I'd be
for you.
tuning in and I'd be watching both halves because this is going to be really good to watch.
Cannot wait. All right, get that pen and paper out. Hopefully everyone at home got their pen license, unlike the 8th. But
The crayon.
enjoy the footy for round 6. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week.
You've been watching another production from
Nine's Wide World of Sports.